let's make some French onion chicken. So for this recipe, you're going to need some chicken, of course. You can use chicken thighs. I'm choosing to use boneless chicken breast, and I decided to get the thin slice because it cooks faster. You're gonna need some fresh thyme, some cheese. I am using the Monterey Jack with jalapeno and mild cheddar, but I mix it with mozzarella. You're gonna need this Lipton onion soup seasoning. You're gonna need some garlic, beef broth, a yellow onion, some Creole seasoning, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I have a different type of garlic powder just in case I run out, and the complete seasoning. And that is all you need for this, so let's get started. My chicken is already washed and cleaned. We are going to start seasoning it. So I'm just going to take some of the complete seasoning, sprinkle it on top. I'm going to be kind of generous with it, but not too generous. I'm going to take some of my black pepper, sprinkle that on top. Doesn't matter which order you go in, just make sure you're doing it. I just go in a certain order for some reason. Comment down below if that's what you do, like you have a certain order for all of your seasonings. I'm putting garlic on right now. Like I keep telling you guys in all of my videos, this house of mine loves garlic. I'm using some of the Creole seasoning now. Just gonna put that on top. And then we are going to flip it and do it all over again. So let's go. All of the chicken is done getting seasoned. Now we are going to head over to the stove so we can cook it in our cast iron skillet. So the skillet is heating up. I'm going to go ahead and toss in our chicken now. It has a little bit of oil in it. And because these pieces of chicken are very thin, it's not going to take that long to cook. So I'm going to do 2 for now, and I'm just going to do it in batches. We have our chicken cooking in the background, so while we're waiting on that, we're going to start slicing up our onions. So we're just going to slice it in half, and you want medium pieces. You don't want anything too big or too small because we're going to caramelize them. So I'll show you the size that we're cutting them to. Okay, it should be about that size. So let's go ahead and finish this, and we'll move on to our next step. Our chicken is done. We are now going to begin on our onions and saute those. So let's get started. We are going to use the same pan that we cooked our chicken in because all of that is flavor. So what we're going to do is toss in a little bit of butter just to kind of deglaze the pan just a little bit. Like this. And once the butter gets nice and melted, we're going to toss in our onions. And we're going to let our onions caramelize. So right now I have it on medium heat. I'm going to put it on medium high right now so that we can finish the process quite quickly. So just let your pan melt the butter like this. And I chopped up some garlic. I'm just gonna toss that in. You don't want to burn the garlic, so we're not cooking at an extremely high heat, but we're cooking at a heat that's gonna stay how it's supposed to by the time the onions get done. So everything is melted. I'm tossing in the onions. And you want to make sure your onions are coated. And I'm going to just break some of them down. And all you're going to do is just continue to stir and watch it. And at this point, I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning. So I'm going to put black pepper. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of Cajun seasoning. Just a little bit. That's all you need. And we're going to let this cook down for a second. Our onions have caramelized to the texture that I would like them. If you want them down a lot more, then feel free to cook them down some more. But this is perfect for me because I still want to have some type of texture to them. But I know a lot of people that has made French onion chicken before, the texture was pretty much like soggy. We don't want to do that. So now what I'm about to do is pour in some of the beef broth. Not a lot, but enough to get it going. It's going to be about a half a cup. There we go. And I'm going to let that cook down some to where you can kind of see the onions again. And then I'm going to put in some of the French onion soup mix, just a little bit. You don't need a whole package, about half of the package. There you go. I'm just gonna toss it around, and then we're gonna let this cook down. Right now is a good time to throw in our thyme. So I'm just going to throw it in whole. Some over there and then some over here. And we're going to let that get flavorful. So at this point, you want to check your consistency. You see how when I drag it, it's not coming back in that fast? That's how you want it. It's at the consistency that you want. So now we're going to add in our chicken that we cooked. Now I'm not adding in all of my pieces because I cooked extra for another day, but I will add in majority. There we go. Then we're just going to spoon some of the sauce on top. I'm going to cut the stove off. And I'm going to spoon some of it on top. You might have to move the chicken around a little bit to get some, which is fine. Want to make sure that it's coated on the top and bottom. This recipe is so good. I've made it thousands of times. It just gives a little twist on, you know, French onion soup. And since we are in the winter, I figured it's a good time to show you guys this recipe. Alright, so I have majority of the chicken coated, and at this point, this is where we are going to add our favorite, some mozzarella cheese. You can use any cheese you want. I decided to use mozzarella, and I'm using Monterey Jack with jalapenos. It's all pretty good. And we are done. So now what we're gonna do is toss this in the oven at 350 for about 6 minutes, and I'll be back with you when it's done. I have pulled the chicken out of the oven. I let the cheese brown a little bit, and this is what I'm left with. I am going to plate it with some sides that I made, and I will come back to show you. But in the meantime, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I have a lot more recipes for you guys, but let me show you how I plate it.